You just gotta keep living, man. Livin.
The WWF brings up the flag and championship back.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages.
It's showtime.
Welcome to P3 Radio. Here's your host, Josh Riley, Richard Mulliken.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining us on P3 Hotline right now, one of the stars and winners of the hit show Hunted on CBS. And he's also going to be fighting in the upcoming black tie and boxing event in Jackson, Tennessee. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to P3 Radio, Hilmar Skagfield. Hilmar, thanks for being here, man.
Thank you for having me. This is a pleasure.
Well, you know, I've got to ask, and I know you're probably getting tired of hearing about the show questions by now. But I do have a few questions. How much time did you guys have, realistically, to know that you were going to be on this show?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think we only had maybe a month and some change, something like that.
Gotcha.
It wasn't a large window, but the problem is that in most reality shows, they also keep the rules away from you till the last second.
Right.
So we really did not know what was going on till basically the day before we went on the run.
Oh, wow.
And that made it really fun because, again, you really have to think through a lot of theoretical situations. And then basically they finally say, hey, you're about to be on the run. Here's your parameters. And you realize, okay, 99% of what I thought is out the window right now. Let's change the game plan. And so you have to adapt. And that was really, to their credit, they made an extraordinary show, and they made that so that it really was, simulating a real life manhunt, just like it would be if, you went on the run right now. So
Right.
that was a really great part of how they constructed the game.
Sometimes I think it would be refreshing for me to get off the grid and live like in the wilderness and away from all the technology and social media. But what was it like? How hard was it to be basically in a social media blackout and a social blackout for a month?
Sure. It was pretty nuts. I guess the pressure, specifically being on the run and being hunted for 28 days is pretty extraordinary. You don't sleep through the night much. You're in kind of fight or flight mode, and you're really trying to shift out of that to be more responsive, rather than just freaking out and running out the door every other 5 minutes. And so it's pretty tough. Mentally, you really have to stay in there, and mentally, the hardest thing I think that we found is that you have to stay flexible and you have to stay focused to be creative, because these hunters are going to be hunting you and your community based on your patterns. And unless you can be creative, you really don't have a chance. And that was really the way in which basically both teams won. They were creative and with a lot of luck. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I had LASIK last year, and I find myself every once in a while trying to push my glasses up even though they're not there. Did y'all ever have a moment where you were trying to reach for a phone or trying to look through your pockets to see, oh, I'm missing my phone? Oh, yeah?
That is a great question. No, the first 5 days, we were always reaching for a phone. We would be wanting to specifically look up, oh, I have so-and-so around here, and I need to find their address. And so you reach for your phone and then suddenly realize, oh, I don't have one. Or you get ready to leave somewhere and you'd be checking all your gear. And then there'd be a moment of crisis, as we all have every day, of, oh, my God, where's my phone? You know? And it's interesting because I think specifically in society today, we don't really care about our keys or our wallet anymore. But if our phone is lost, oh, hell, this is not going to be okay.
Oh, yeah, we lean on it every day. It's like a crutch. And, It's become more of a buddy that just goes around with you that can answer any question in the world you might have.
It's extraordinary. And it is also an extraordinary tracking device if you have one and if you're running from the CIA.
Now, speaking of which, since you guys were so good at this game, did you have anybody visiting you after, offering you jobs, or maybe looking into you? Did your picture go up at a few post offices, as how well you were getting away?
No, I actually had 2 job offers from some agencies that were kind of feeling me out. They had seen what I did on the show and kind of pitched it out there of, hey man, if you ever want to come in, just let us know. And so it was cool. It was really fun after the show because the hunters had no idea what we had done until the show aired, and that was really a lot of fun for Lee and I to go back through our strategy with the hunters and really talk strategy, game plan, some things that you don't see on TV. And for the hunters to come back and say, no, you did a phenomenal job. I mean, how you moved, how you thought, how you kept your calm, how you thought through where we were, all those things, they were really impressed. And so we had a lot of mutual respect. But one of the side effects of this is when I meet somebody in the intelligence agencies or in the military, I get really nervous nowadays because I realize just what they can do to me. And I recently got introduced to a Delta Force guy, and it was just, I was just a little nervous, okay, all right, I know how many ways you can kill me right now. I know how many ways you can disrupt my life right now. Okay.
Well, you watch the show with a skeptic, like your weird uncle or something like that, and they're going to always throw out one of those lines that you hear all the time on reality TV shows. Oh, when the camera goes off, those guys get all kinds of breaks. They have catering. What would you say to those guys? This was pretty legit, right?
This was super legit. In fact, some people have asked if I wanted to go on another reality show, and I said no, just due to the fact that being entrenched in Hunted and the production value and the level of the game is so high that it makes everything else look a little lame. And when we, shut down for the day, it was, you're still in go time. You can't move. You can't do anything to further your, strategy or your movement, but you're stuck with what you have. So when you look at someone such as Troy and Shelley, they don't get granola bars from the production crew. They are stuck in the middle of a swamp with whatever they have, and that's it. And everything's counted for. There's a producer with you at all times. So there's no way to, cheat the system at all. And it was just a lot of fun to kind of play that parameter in the sense of the hunters had X amount of time and we had X amount of time. And what we did with X amount of time really mattered. And so the other thing was really nice is not having to run 24/7 was great because you don't want to be creating dangerous situations around America trying to film a reality television show, because at 2:00 every morning, you just want to run. You just are ready. You wake up in the middle of the night and you say, okay, we got to get out of here. Right. Where do we go? And it helps probably keep us safe.
Well, I worked in wrestling, pro wrestling, for about 10 to 12 years. And, that's a form of entertainment. You have to be aware of cameras and know where it is. And you try not to break the fourth wall at all. You don't ever want to look right into the camera unless you're cutting a promo to the person you're cutting the promo on.
Sure.
You never, you have those guys in the back of the locker room where they're talking like they're the only ones there. And meanwhile, there's a camera there. And the whole time I was watching the show with my wife, we were sitting there watching, and I'm like, that camera crew has to be hampering what they're trying to do, because they're in a helicopter looking down on for you guys. It's like, well, maybe it's the guy that's being filmed by the large camera crew. How big was the camera crew, and was that ever a hindrance to you guys in trying to hide?
No, the thing I'd say about the camera crew is it was interesting because we filmed like a documentary. There was no, hey, can you do that again? I mean, there was a couple times in which maybe the camera asked, hey, can you say what you guys have been talking about the past hour in, a nice little TV 1-minute clip kind of thing, right, just summarize. But there was never any, hey, repeat, stop, do any of that stuff. So there's no hindrance with the camera, which is super rare for some of these games and things like that, which
Right.
was incredible. So you're really running as a documentary, and a true documentary at that. Then on top of that, the other thing that a lot of people don't think about, and this was interesting to Lee and I getting off the show, talking to some of the other fugitives, as well as some of the surrounding community, is when Lee and I are out and about on the show, we're really thinking through, hey, there's a guy across the street that just saw me with a backpack on. A lot of people don't actually see the camera, and in fact, they might be, being filmed and they have no idea what's going on.
Right.
But what was really identifiable was, hey, there's this random new car in my neighbor's yard. And it's strange how many people know there's a random new car in my neighbor's yard. And that's actually where a lot of people got picked off, was they're not thinking about this game socially.
Right.
And that's how fugitives get caught. They're not thinking through, basically how their community's reacting, as well as how the people that they're interacting with are tracking them. And so for us, one of the biggest things, and this is kind of Fugitive 101, is you don't go outside.
Right.
Basically, every single movement that you had, you mitigate your risks. You don't stop. You don't go into a gas station. All of those things have to be really controlled, because Lee and I, we stick out. And we saw that in the first episode with the first couple that was out, Matt, and he's 6'7", and there's no hiding someone that's 6'7". So
Right.
you have to mitigate your risk of, whether he had a wig on or not. No one cares, because I'm just going to look at a security camera and say, oh, there's the 6'7" guy. And
Right.
so those are things that you really have to be thinking about in order to mitigate that risk. And that's where the camera was really not much of a hindrance at all. It was actually mainly just us saying, okay, we have got to stay out of sight, and we got to make sure that people don't know where we are. And that includes the neighbor across the street that's on his front porch. And he was actually the person that tagged our car in the final days.
Wow.
He said he thought the cops were real cops. He had identified them as cops and said, yeah, there's a gray Chevy Impala, or whatever the Impala's make is, that is across the street. And they've been here for a day, I think, and they've been kind of weird. And by the way, the lady next to their house is having an affair. Do you want to know about that too?
Wow.
I mean, that's how dialed this man was.
Right.
So it was a little weird, but again, those are the things that you really have to think through, that if you get caught because of camera crew, you're not doing your job on the
Right.
show. You're not really doing your job as a fugitive.
Gotcha. Well, you guys won the grand prize. After you won, how many cousins did you discover that you had that you never knew about before?
No, completely. I would say that my favorite thing was a couple random requests from people that I have not talked to in probably 12 to 15 years that immediately wanted life updates, and it was just, it was a bit strange of, wait, what? I haven't
Right.
talked. Why are you emailing me about this? And so they came out of the woodwork, but
Yeah.
everybody else was cool.
Try to make it sound like totally random. Hey, man, what you been up to? You coming to
Yeah,
the reunion?
exactly. yeah, exactly. It was basically like, hey, remember that time that we hung out and went to Starbucks in Jackson? Cool. So how's things going now? You
Right.
you gonna be around here? And you're like,
Yeah.
nah, what do you what's your name again? So that was a little funny, but everybody else was so super, super cool.
Cool deal. Well, to wrap up on the Hunted and to tie into what you're coming up to now, when you guys first picked up your money in the series finale on Hunted, you guys wore suits, which was one of the many ballsy / entertaining things you did on the show. Is
Sure.
that entertaining showmanship style what we should expect to see from you in the ring on January 6th?
Absolutely. No, running in suits, 3.5 miles, and having a good old time at it was exactly what I wanted to bring to, and it is what I wanted to bring to the ring this January. And it's been a lot of fun. I mean, this has been something that when the show was airing, I was here in Jackson and working out here at the fight shop. and everyone was just super accommodating and kind of walking me through just some sparring. And I had worked boxing to get prepared for the show, just aerobically, and here was able to just kind of learn a little bit more. But they had thrown out this idea of, hey, would you like to come do this black tie boxing event? And the event is just so cool. Being at the Civic Center, everyone's gussied up, black tie, ball gowns, tables, 5-course meal, and these incredible feats of athleticism. And then they tell me, hey, you wanna go around? Let me think about this.
Right.
So I ended up committing just recently and have just jumped into training and just really enjoying it. It's a very different thing going from punching a heavy bag to being punched in the face.
Right.
So I've been having to switch that up, but really enjoying the training and the new experience.
I tell you, it's kind of like what Mike Tyson says. Everybody has a plan. Everybody knows what they're doing before they get in there and get punched in the face. And
that's exactly it.
It's a major game changer if you're not used to it. Hey, man, talking about this show, last year, of course, I did the ring announcing last year. I'm supposed to be back doing the ring announcing again this year.
Yeah, super excited about that.
Yeah, I honestly, full disclosure, I was thinking, I've only seen a few advertisement spots. I've been in Jackson my whole life. I know how fickle we are. You have to beat us about the head about things. Hey, this is coming, this is coming, this is coming. And then the 2 days before the show, it snowed, like more snow than what it has in a while here in Jackson. And I'm thinking, man, this thing is going to tank. It's not going to do well at all. I want it to do well, but I don't know if it's going to do so well. That place was packed to the rafters. And I mean, it was from the word go, it was up, energetic. Everybody was having a good time. It was packed, and they raised some good money for a good cause there. But yeah, what influenced you to want to fight in this on January 6th at Black Tie Boxing?
Sure. You know, it was kind of two things. It was just something that at the beginning of this journey, I had really said, you know, I feel like I should do this, you know, give back to the fight shop and Rachel and Kim and Cassidy, who have just really kind of took me in for 3 months while the show was happening and let me train there. And there was just a sense of camaraderie of, you know, this is really important, and this is a need, and this is something I can fill coming off some reality show to be a celebrity card. And it was kind of at that point for a while. But actually during this journey, as I've been kind of keeping in shape all this year and just kind of lightly touching up on some things, actually one of our hunters on the show, Griff, his daughter was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes and had a really traumatic hospital stay, and their life is now changed. And so it's become just kind of this full circle moment where, you know, it was really an eye-opener to me of just how many people in our community have type 1 diabetes and the need to help just shoulder that burden, to be aware, to be accommodating.
Right. And
so it's been a lot of fun to just kind of walk through that with Griff and learn more about this and his journey and other people's journey. And then on top of that itch and that interest of just really saying, okay, like let's put some skin in the game on this. And that's something that I think I've learned from Hunted is experiences like that and like this. You really just have to put some skin in the game. And it wasn't something where it's like, oh yeah, I'll just show up and, you know, like say, hey, you know, it's like, no, like put me in the ring. Let's do this thing. And if me getting punched in the face brings some money to this thing, then game on, let's do this. And so I've just jumped in and really enjoyed training and learning from everyone at the fight shop and training down in my hometown in Tallahassee for the past 2 weeks. So it's been a lot of fun.
Okay. Yeah. How long have you actually been training? Have you ever been in a fight like in this magnitude in a ring before? Now, we've all had those schoolyard fights and fights with our friends and brothers, but is this going to be your first professional fight inside of a ring?
Yes, this will be my first professional fight in a ring. I've gone and done some bag classes and a little sparring here and there. So, you know, just kind of learning to handle yourself in a ring. Mm-hmm. But this is this is the first real deal. So I got a guy that has 3 fights under his belt, and we'll be doing kind of a boxing exhibition and going at it. And it will be a real fight, and I'm not taking this lightly. So it's been a lot of work put in. I've had a lot of black eyes already. I got bloody nose right now. I mean, it's the real deal. But again, you want to give the respect to your opponent, just like we did in Hunted. It's I'm joking around, but it feels like Hunted 2.0, where
Right.
I have no idea what this guy's about to throw at me. I don't know how good he is. I just know that he's got more experience on me, and if I don't prepare for this thing, I'm going to get rocked. And there's nothing worse than losing a charity match. That's my thing.
Yeah, and you don't want to be known. You don't want to make the career of the guy that is known for, I'm the guy that knocked out the winner of Hunted at Black Time Boxing.
No, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. There's a great Chuck, which is about the real story of the fighter that Sylvester Stallone wrote Rocky off of.
Mm-hmm.
There's just these great little bouts that he does trying to raise money and do these things. I was like, I just don't want to be like Chuck when I grow up. So we'll see. He was like fighting a bear and all this stuff. I'm
Right.
like, I feel like there's another path. So yeah, really looking forward to it. Working with Tommy up here and coach down in Tallahassee on boxing, and really excited about it. See what I can do and what type of show we can pull off.
Now, you're going to be fighting, or you're going to be boxing Charlie Allen at Black Time Boxing. What strategy are you going to have going into this fight? Or are you going to disclose it right now, or are you just going to kind of keep your cards close to your chest here?
No, sure. I think I feel like one of those things, if I was experienced, be like, I got to keep my cards close to my chest. But right now I'm just learning what the cards are, So there's unfortunately a pretty steep learning curve on this, and I am just doing my best to, again, kind of do what I did at Hunted. Is like, hey, let's learn the heck out of this. Let's understand it. Let's know what I have. Let's know what my opponent might have. And I'm really excited that Charlie agreed to this because, again, I think he's going to be a great match. And I am fully expecting a good show from him. So I'm just going to try and put up my dukes and, bring a good show to him.
Yeah. Now, I'm not a fighter by any means. Like I said, I wrestled for 10 years, but I'm no fighter. I can tell you one way to see how prepared he is. Now, it could go one of two ways. It could either go really good for you or backfire tremendously. Go in guns blazing and just charge him first off.
Yeah, just going wild, just like throwing like pinwheel punches and see what happens. Yeah.
Now it could work out for you. It could surprise him. It's kind of like when a mouse jumps out on a lion and the lion just jumps and goes and it's like I said, he just wasn't ready for it. But like
completely,
it could go completely wrong. He could just throw like a right hook and just catch you first thing. So I don't know how sound strategy that is.
Well, from experience of a guy that I just sparred with last week, I went in guns blazing and got rocked, and all my guns were disarmed very quickly. So I'm going to take Charlie Allen very seriously, and again, just super thankful that he agreed to do this to raise some money. So we're pumped about it.
Well, man, we appreciate you being on P3 Radio tonight. Catch Hilmar fighting, as well as all the action-packed card, January 6th, Saturday night, at the Carl Perkins Civic Center in Jackson, Tennessee, with all proceeds going to the JDRF Research Foundation for Type 1 Diabetes, which is a great cause. For ticket information, you can call the Carl Perkins Civic Center box office at 731-425-8580 or go to blacktimeboxing.com. Hilmar, man, once again, thanks for joining us here on P3 Radio.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
January 6, 2018 at the Carl Perkins Civic Center. Get ready for an elegant evening that packs a punch when the second annual Black Tie and Boxing, the Fight for a Cure, comes back to Jackson. You won't want to miss out on this great night benefiting the JDRF. For ticket information, go to blacktieandboxing.com/tickets or blacktieandboxing.com. Black Tie and Boxing, January 6, 2018 at the Carl Perkins Civic Center, Jackson, Tennessee. It's fight time!
Joining us on the P3 hotline right now, we have a guy that used to be a wrestler by the name of Robbie Douglas, but now he's a former fighter and a fight promoter. One of the fight promoters you will see at Black Time Boxing, January 6th in Jackson, Tennessee at the Carl Perkins Civic Center. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to P3 Radio, Wayne Kendall. You know, last year at Black Time Boxing, you actually, I have to credit you. It's one of the best times I've ever had at like an event. You gave me a shot. I'd been bothering you for months. Hey, if you've got anything that you know that's coming up, hey, you know anything that's going on, give me a call, please. And you were like, hey, okay, finally, I'm gonna put up or shut up time, Richard. Here's this. And I think the whole event, I was like, anybody seen Robbie? Where's Robbie at?
Yeah, man. Well, you listen. I mean, somebody had to give me my shot. You know, I mean. So, I mean, it's something you're passionate about and something you're good at. It'd be different if you didn't, like, have a talent for it, you know, which you obviously do. And guys like you and me who, you know, how we met through the professional wrestling and, you know, and all the shows we did together and all that, you know, to be thrust into doing something else, you know, that has nothing to do with it, even though it has some of the similarities, you know, from the business, you know, it just, you know, it's fun. You know, it's all that matters, and you were good at it, and everybody was highly impressed.
Well,
so
thanks. I appreciate that.
I do take the credit for you actually doing well.
You know, I was doing like bodybuilding shows and wrestling shows before, and I always wanted to do something. No offense to bodybuilding, and I love wrestling, but I wasn't getting a lot of wrestling shows, and you know as well as I do, if you're not on the WWE TNA level, you're not making money at a wrestling show.
All right.
So I always wanted to do like MMA because it was so exciting for me. It was something different. When you get in there and you watch these two guys going at it, mano a mano, fighting it out, duking out, you know, it's like, it's a real sporting event. It was like, man, I really want to do something like this. So I'm glad y'all brought me back for this year because this card looks stacked, man.
Yeah, well, we've got actually 11 MMA and kickboxing combined, and we've got two pretty high-level grappling matches, and one of them's going to happen between a couple of 10-year-olds. You know, this is going to shock a lot of people. This is probably going to be one of the more intense matches on the entire card. It's going to be two kids from rival gyms. They have competed against each other before. It's a buddy of mine, his son. His name's Malik Burdine from Team Paragon down there in Mississippi. He's going to go against Jeremiah Nichols.
Everything from start to finish last year was awesome. Even when the girl was carrying the tray of drinks and dropped them and the glass broke and went all in the ring, I was like, let's dip our hands in glue and get real about this. Tone Pole.
I know it. I mean, Brian Collins helped me. I don't want to sit here and take all the credit. Brian Collins was huge in helping me put the card together last year. I mean, it was pretty much a 50-50 effort between me and him. But I mean, he just had a professional fight. He was deep in training this year. I just told him this year, let me handle it. I got it. You know, don't worry about it, brother. It's on me this time. And, you know, just so he could focus and not be, you know, I mean, people are just absolutely, I mean, every time you turn on the UFC and you just watch a flawless show go by,
right?
You know, what you don't see is that nervous matchmaker sitting cage side who's just been put through the ringer to make that show happen.
Right.
I mean, it's incredible. Just how much can go wrong, and just, I mean, it's a lot of trust and faith and a lot of relationship building, and it takes years to develop relationships and basically a Rolodex of fighters you can go to and ask them to fight for free.
Right. You know, it's like wrestling, though. You know, me and you spent a lot of time in the wrestling organizations, and it wasn't always about how much money we could get. It was about, okay, what's the crowd size? How many people's going to see me on this? Because you know as well as I do, if you get exposure, that's just as good as money. That's money in the bank, because if you get exposure and you do really well on a card, especially one that looks like freaking WrestleMania of Jackson, Tennessee. This thing looks...
I know. I know. And that's been one of my bigger selling points. It's fun. It's so funny you said that, because that's what I'm saying. I'm like, guys, you don't understand the amount of free exposure you're going to get from this. Don't let the jargon just slip out and sound corny, but this year is legitimately going to be twice as big as last year. It's not bigger than twice as big. I mean, it's just the pre-sales have been huge. The tickets, I mean, they had 45 tables of 8 sold at, $1,500 a pop, like 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
I mean, and that's all Rachel. I mean, dude, she's just killing it.
Yeah.
I mean, she's amazing.
Yeah, she texts me every once in a while and goes, "Hey, do you have a headshot?" And I'm like, "I'm not very professional. I don't have a headshot. What do you mean?" And she's like, "Can you get me one by tomorrow?" And I had my wife take pictures that night. We made it a point because, like I said, I know how big this event is. I know how big and how much time she has put in, how much time you've put in. So anything I can do like that, like something little, yeah, why not? Here, take a picture of me with all of my gray hair and my beard, looking all fat like I have because Thanksgiving and Christmas and all the stress has gotten to me. So, yeah, let me do this right now because I feel like, when you see people working hard and you see them working towards a goal, you want to help them. You don't want to be a roadblock. You want to be somebody that actually steps in there and goes, what can I do to make this easier for you? So Rachel's one of those people. You watch how she works and you watch how you work on these fights, promoting it. Last year in the back when I showed up and I'm like, so what do you want me to say? And you're like, this person didn't show up. We're scrambling. And I'm like, you're cool, man. Like I said, it's all about
just
wrestling.
Kept putting you off.
Yeah. I was like, just give me the card and tell me how to say people's names.
Yep. I mean, I give you credit, man. I was like, hey, here's the information you ad-lib it, brother. It's on you. It's on you. I can't tell you how to announce. You just got to, and you did good. You developed your own style and you made it. You like far eclipsed any expectations I had. Of course, I hadn't seen you in that role before. I never really, I'm not taking a shot at you, but you were never like a talker back in the day.
Here's the reason why. I was always 6'3", 300 pounds.
That's true.
You have a wrestling promoter, and you go to him. You go, hey. My name is Richard Mulliken. I wrestle as Max Corbin. I'd like to come into your promotion and wrestle for you. They go, okay, that sounds great. Can you send some video? And you send some video, and they go, you're a monster. You should never talk. And I'm like, but I can talk. I can do my own intros.
Especially when your tag partner is bigger than you were.
Well, he was bigger, not taller. I was taller, but yeah, I mean, he was always the one they were like, okay, he's the big guy in the group. And I'm like, why is he the big guy? I'm taller.
Yeah.
But no, that you can't have that in wrestling. So you're not the only one. I have had to struggle. In fact, we talked to Del Rios, who was one of the guys that was instrumental in me getting involved in announcing. I actually credited him because he started – one day he came to me and he said, hey, do you know anything about doing commercials? Because we're trying to do some voiceover work for a bodybuilding show. And I said, yeah, I've done some stuff in the past. I can give it a shot. And I think what he had done is he had heard some commercials I'd put together for Kevin's wrestling school. And he said, can you do something like that for me? And I did. And he was blown away by it. He was like, that's you? I was like, yeah. So he started putting me in touch with all these promoters in around the area for bodybuilding shows. And one by one, they would bring me in because I'm no threat to a bodybuilder. I might be tall and big, but at the end of the day, I'm not getting up there looking like Chris Farley at a Chippendale, concert. So he's like, you got to bring this guy in. So slowly but surely, I've been working my way onto that circuit and everything. But he actually told me, he was like, dude, I'll tell you what, bro, you should get out of that whole wrestling thing and you should just start announcing. Well, I was like, well, kind of.
So funny because that's so funny because it sounds just like him.
Which was the greatest advice ever.
Well,
it was the greatest advice ever, man, because I should have done it years ago because there's way more money in it, and I get to actually entertain people. I get to perform in front of the people, and I don't have to fall down every 5 minutes.
Yeah, the cuffs are off.
January 6, 2018, at the Carl Perkins Civic Center, Black Tie and Boxing, a fight for the cure for juvenile diabetes. We're going to see you there. It'll be this Saturday. If you're listening to this right now, it'll be this Saturday. If you haven't got tickets yet, you need to get on it now. All of the floor seats are sold out. You're not going to get one of those. So if you were looking for that, you should have tried that a long time ago. But general admission right now, if you go to the box office, if you call the box office in Jackson, Tennessee, or if you go to blacktieandboxing.com/tickets, you can get tickets right now for Black Tie and Boxing. Don't miss out on this. This is the greatest homegrown local event in Jackson, Tennessee you will see. Me and Josh both will be there. You don't want to miss out. Now that that's out of the way, Robbie Douglas. Here we go. So now we'll talk to Robbie Douglas a little bit about wrestling. And now Josh can join in too. So if I'm talking to Robbie instead of Wayne right now, how did you get involved into wrestling, man?
every ounce, every single bit of that credit goes to my cousin, and he's pretty much my brother, AJ Bradley, also known as Adam Kendall.
Yeah.
I mean, I just, he was like my little brother growing up. It was me and Adam, or AJ as he was known, and my grandmother every Saturday morning watching Memphis wrestling. If WCW was in town, she took us to see WCW. If there was anything on TV, Global. It's funny you said that. Was it not GFW? It was called
GWF.
what was it called growing? Yeah, GWF.
Global Wrestling Federation.
What was Marcus Bagwell, like the handsome stranger?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, it's just so funny. Like she would, tape record all of those shows for us, and just, man, we made the cardboard belts, and we were just jumping off the flower pots in the front yard. I mean, it was just. It's probably exactly like you guys, and
it's funny
I was a couple years older.
Yeah, if y'all would. Well, I mean, you're probably around close to the same age as us, maybe close.
I'm 35. I just turned 35.
Yeah, well, I mean, Josh is 35. I'm 34, so we're exactly same age. And
yeah.
I think
and Adam's just a couple years younger than us.
Yeah,
I think he's 30. He's born in 85, so he's 2 or 3 years younger than me.
Yeah, so, I mean, we're looking around the same age. If we would have actually been in the same geographical area, which, I mean, like when you were kids back then, it was like 1 block, 2 blocks away, we would have been best friends.
Right. Oh, no doubt, man. Because, I mean, we were just, well, at Christmas, his sons, our grandmother got Adam's sons, our grandsons, a couple of, just a little Brock Lesnar toy, Roman Reigns, and, they were just like the little wrestling toys that they were like $6 or $7 at Walmart back in the day that we used to just beg for every Saturday. Because the routine was, if it was during the summer, me and Adam were at our grandmother's who lived on North Highland. It was, we would get up, we would go to the old country store, then we would go shopping. We would take my great-grandmother grocery shopping, do whatever we had to do, but we were back by 11 because Memphis Wrestling was on. And that's all that mattered.
Who would you say growing up was your guy, your number one wrestler?
Oh man, there's just no doubt, zero doubt, man. Nature Boy Ric Flair, zero doubt in my mind. I grew up on TBS, and it was NWA, WCW, Atlanta Braves, and Atlanta Hawks. I mean, if it was on TBS, I loved it.
Right. Well, growing up in this area, Lawler, to me, always was the man. It's like he wasn't the biggest guy, but when he said Monday night it's going down, you believed him.
Right. Oh, absolutely. You couldn't be more right. And I guess from a national level, for me, it was my dad was such a Flair fan, and I mean, from that standpoint, I mean, it seems like Memphis is a whole different world of its own. I just remember just feeling depressed. It was only an hour,
right,
on Saturday mornings.
That was the thing, too. It was always Saturday mornings for the longest time. And if you woke up late, if you happened to sleep in and you missed that 10 o'clock show,
you're screwed.
Yeah, it was like, oh, man. Because you would wake up on Saturdays. This was my regimen. Wake up, and you usually wake up really, when you were younger, you'd wake up and you'd watch Muppet Babies on Nickelodeon. And it would be Muppet Babies, and then you would, when Muppet Babies was over, you'd switch it to WWF, which would be Mania,
yep,
or whatever, Live Wire, or whatever show it was at the time. You'd watch that. Then you'd chill back out. Superstars. You'd watch whatever show that was for a minute. Then you would chill back out for a minute, and then you would cut back in for Memphis Wrestling, which was... Back in the day, I remember that show felt like it took forever, and it was wonderful. Yeah. You loved every minute because it was like a 2-hour show on Saturday mornings, right?
Right.
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half. It was longer, but it felt longer because it was
90 minutes.
Right. It wasn't a 30-minute wrestling show. It was 90 minutes, and you're sitting there going, "Oh, this is awesome." So then, when that show would end, you would go out and play for a little while. You do your thing. You come in, maybe hit Snick or whatever, but you'd always hit Saturday Night Wrestling, WCW Saturday Night.
Absolutely, 505.
Yeah. You'd hit that, and then you'd watch Clarissa Explains It All, and then you'd go to bed and get ready for church. That was every weekend as a kid from 3rd grade to 9th grade. I mean,
you know what screwed up my Saturday mornings though? Like what program screwed everything up for me? ECW.
What's that?
ECW Friday nights 1 a.m.
Yes.
That is when I began to fail, watching Saturday morning wrestling.
Yeah.
Because I stayed up all
I
night
haven't thought
trying to
about
watch
that
ECW.
in years.
Well, we had the luxury of this video device called a VCR. I don't know if you've heard of this, kids, but we had the luxury of a VCR. And what we would do is we would stay up as late as we could, and when we felt like we were about to pass out, we'd hit record. And I remember it was on Fox Sports South. That was the channel it was on here in Jackson. And I remember there was many a times where Josh would come over and spend the night, and he's like, well, if I come over, I'm bringing my VCR because I want to record it on my tape. I don't want to try to dub one off. I want one on my tape. So you'd have to hook up this complicated system, and in the morning you'd wake up and you'd be like, oh, no, we got 45 minutes of weird snowboarding footage. I don't know what to do with this.
Oh, man, that's so funny. It's so funny. I mean, Adam was the king of the VCR, man. He recorded everything.
What's funny now is that Josh had a black box growing up. I feel like we've passed the statute of limitations there. So
it's long gone now.
It's long gone now. So he used to steal cable when we were younger. But
I remember on Saturday mornings with Memphis, when they would go to, say they were getting ready to go to the commercial, or maybe it was the start or the end of the show, they would go to what towns they were going to be in.
Right.
Remember how it would kind of like pop up and say, okay, we're going to be in Jonesboro, Arkansas Tuesday night, and we're going to be in, I don't know, Louisville, or then we might be in Paris.
Expo Center.
Yeah, exactly.
Big One Expo Center down
be,
there in Memphis, Tennessee.
They'd be somewhere in Indiana or something.
Right.
But, man, if they ever, like, I had my pencil out and ready, like, if they said they were going to be, like, within, like, a driving radius of Jackson, I was asking Granny I was going to need to borrow about $14, and we was going to need to find a way to go.
Let's get off of wrestling for a little bit, and let's talk a little bit more about black tie and boxing. We've got a lot of big fights lined up, and I noticed we had a title match on there.
We do. We're going to have our very first championship fight between two guys, 185 pounds, which was my former weight class, even though I probably should have been like a 155 or a I fought at 70 a couple of times, but just the weight cut was just ridiculous, and I wasn't a fan of dieting. So,
right.
Got two guys I'm super, super fond of, and I'm very lucky I didn't run across either one of their paths when I was active. Got Jordan Fowler coming out of, I forget the name of the town in Arkansas he's from, but Jordan's a tough guy, man. He's on a huge streak, man. He's got 2 or 3 nasty stoppages in a row. He's going to be fighting this kid that I just think is he's a kid I think that could be in the UFC one day. A guy named Kevin Bolick. He trains down there with the Team Paragon in Mississippi, and he's just he's 7-1. He's just an animal, man. He's just a kid, and he's just getting familiar with the sport, and he's just out there killing guys. He's so good. You'll be so impressed with him.
Right.
And they're going to go at it for our inaugural championship. It was just an idea of mine. It just always adds to the lore, and there's just something on the line. I just love nothing more than a main event having something at stake.
But man, I tell you what, if last year's main event is anything like this year's main event, we're bound to be in for it. So guys, you do not want to miss out on this event. Last year was great. This year's going to be even better. Get your tickets now. You don't want to be the guy sitting around the water cooler while everyone else is talking about this great event they just went to at the Jackson Civic Center and seen Black Time Boxing. You don't want to be the guy that's left out, right, Josh?
It's going to be the event for January the 6th, that's for sure.
So go right now to blacktimeboxing.com/tickets. Get your tickets. All the floor tickets are gone. So don't think that you're going to get ringside tickets right now because you've waited way too long. You've heard about this on the radio. You've heard about this here on this show. You've heard about this on TV. You've seen the sign at the Civic Center. So it's your own fault that you're not getting ringside tickets. But you can get general admission tickets right now. blacktimeboxing.com/tickets. Get your tickets now. You're not going to want to miss this great event. Wayne Kendall. You're still on the phone. We're not going to talk to Robbie anymore. We're going to talk to Wayne.
No, we'll hit the button. We're back over.
We're back over to Business Wayne. We're not to Wrestling Robbie. We're at Business Wayne. And and I will be talking to Business Wayne this weekend. So man,
Right.
here's one question, and then I'll let you get to whatever last thing you want to say because we're gonna have to cut this off. When are you going to don the advertisement tights again that has all your sponsors on it and step into Black Time Boxing and fight for us?
Oh, brother, man, how badly I wish that fire was still burning, man. But it's been put out, and it's I'm firmly committed to not competing anymore. I mean, I just I know this is a factor with everybody, and you're a father just like I am, man. Right. But I just don't have the time, and to be honest with you, man, I can't keep up with the guys that are. I'm competing with in my own gym now. The guys are so young, and they've surpassed me in every facet of the game. Grappling, wrestling. I was a local champion for Summit, man, and which is a pretty big deal. And when you're getting smoked by some 20-year-old that's only been training for 6 or 8 months, you're like, holy crap! Like I need to quit while I'm ahead.
Right. I mean,
only so many concussions, brother. I mean, yeah. and I had several, man. I mean, it's real. I turned 35, and that's dog years in MMA, man.
Oh yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap up, man. Anything else you want to say about this event or anything going on?
Yeah, man. We got 14 of the 26 guys on the card are within 25, 30 minutes of Jackson. So tons of local guys that are going to be, look to the Black Tie page and everybody's Facebook. They're all going to be sharing it like crazy. Just getting as much press as we can out there. Teddy Holder, you're familiar with Teddy, right?
Yeah.
You know Teddy. All right, Big Teddy. He's from South Jackson. Him and Damian Melton. These are both of them these are professional athletes, professional fighters, and they're going to have a no-gi grappling match, man. So, which is these two guys who normally get paid to come in and work events, they're going to do this, because I have a good relationship with both guys, and they're both competitive, so they're going to have good grappling matches. And as much I would love to see those guys throwing kicks and punches at each other. It's just going to who can submit who, and that's pretty much how that one's going to work. But Teddy's a big name around here. Teddy's been on the national stage a couple times on NBC when he was with the World Series of Fighting, and Damian's a guy that's fought everybody. I mean, every badass around here. Damian Melton's fought him. I don't know anybody that has more amateur or professional fights combined than him, and he's just one of the nicest human beings. I think he's from up in Huntington or Gleason or something else, somewhere McKenzie area, something like that. You got to cut me off right.
No, no, you're good, man. No, we're all, and of course, P3 Radio is going to be there. You're going to draw like 9 more people. 9 more people than last year because P3 Radio is going to be there.
We need to. I tell you what, we need to do. We need to have Josh do like a live stream or something.
We'll do a live stream when we talk over the fights. Last year, I tried to do my best doing Facebook Live, but I didn't have anybody to hold the camera because I was trying to get back in the ring, and so we might do something like that. I mean, it'll be fine for the people that can't make it. I mean, you absolutely can't make it, but if you can make it, get there because it will. The live action is nowhere near what you're going to see on your phone or your tablet on Facebook
absolutely.
Live feed.
And Richard, I'm a little disappointed. And I'm shocked you haven't told everybody. You got to come dressed to the nines, my man.
Oh yeah, that's the best part about the whole event is because you see all these people dressed up like it's a 1950s dinner party. It's awesome because you see all these people in their suit and ties. So you don't feel left out when you're dressed up and you're in a tuxedo or whatever, or if you're in a shirt and tie, or you don't feel left out because everybody is dressed up. So make sure you dress up. Now, general admission was a little lax last year. Like I said, it's not like down front.
Yeah, but everybody, for the most part, I would say it was 50-50.
Right.
But I've had a lot of people, fans, message me on Facebook and say, if I dress like this, am I going to be allowed in? I'm like, of course you should be allowed in.
Right.
But I mean, just it ain't gonna hurt you. Dress up a little bit, and it's the theme. It's the theme of it, and grab you a little sports. Just grab you some slacks and a sports coat, man. You'd be good.
So come out, support the cause, bring your checkbook, dress to the nines. Come on, put on a suit and tie. It's fun to dress up. So come out, watch these guys fight each other. And have a few drinks and enjoy a great fundraiser, a great cause. It's not even going to feel like a fundraiser. It's going to feel like a party. It's going to feel like a party where two
Absolutely.
people are fighting, and it's going to happen 13 times. It's going to be awesome.
That's perfect.
And as I said that, I spilt my drink everywhere. So, as you know, I'm excited, and you're excited. Everybody's excited. And we're gonna go ahead and end this interview.
We've outlived our welcome here.
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and end this interview before we're electrocuted by this electronic equipment that I just soaked with my drink. Wayne, man, it's great to talk to you. I will see you this Saturday night in Black Tie Boxing. Any parting words?
No, man. Thank you to everybody that's helped be a part of this event and help make it happen. Thank you all. Thank you to the fans for buying a ticket, and thank you especially to all the fighters. Without you guys, this doesn't happen. And looking forward, a lot of the kids with Type 1 are going to be there. They're going to be our guests of honor. So we're going to recognize all of them, too, so it's going to be awesome.
Well, the sound of that music means we have reached the end of another episode of P3 Radio. If you want to find us on Facebook, how can they do that, Richard?
Just type in Pop Poncho on Facebook, and you can go to YouTube and type in P3 Radio, or on Twitter at P3 Radio 1.
Or you can go to our number, 731-300-6675.
Yes,
731-300-MORK.
Yeah, physically go to our number. Don't dial that in, don't text it, don't do anything. Physically go there.
Go to it.
Yes. And we will see you next week here on P3 Radio. For Josh Brawley, I'm Richard Mulligan saying good night.